Hello, everyone. Good morning. In this video, I will give you a guide and tips for chapter 7 of my Java book. Chapter 7 introduces single-dimensional arrays. So first, in the introduction section, we give the motivation why arrays are needed. And if you don't have the array, you cannot write the programs to process data. So this is a very useful data structure, a simple data structure, and almost every programming language supports this, the arrays, the concept of array, using array to hold a bunch of data together. So this is the motivation in the introduction section. Now get into the basics. Now, how you declare an array variable. So this is how you declare the array variable, and the how you create array. So the syntax to create array is to use this new. So with the data type and specify the array size, for example. So here's new double of 10 elements. And you create this array, assign it to the array reference variable. All right, so look at this diagram here. Is the array of 10 double elements. So this is the reference variable. It's called myList. And this is how you access the element at index 5. So index starts from 0. And the last one is the array, the length -1. So here's 10. So this is B9. So what about the default values for the elements in the array? So here, this is the section explaining the so array size, and you access the size using a dot length. So here's my list dot length, and the default values for numeric values 0, for the Boolean is false, and for the character is the first Unicode. Accessing array elements through the index. So this is also known as indexed variable. So here's the array reference variable and brackets index. Array initializer, and this is a very useful simple syntax. If you know all the values, you can initialize the array and declare this array, create the array at the same time, and rather using this many lines and for assigning values to array. So you have this simple, this is called array initializer. Processing arrays, so we use the loops and to go through the elements in the array. So there's things you can look at it and how you process the array, get the input from the console, assign the input into the array elements, and to print the values in the array, and to find the largest element in the array, to find the index of the largest element in the array, and to do a random shuffling. So here is to do a shifting array. So all this, see how we're going to process the array. Array has this convenient syntax. It's called for each loop. So you can write a simple for each loop instead of using explicitly using all index. So when you process, like if you print all the elements in the array, so you can write this. So this is for each loop, for every element in the array myList, you print it. And rather than using so the index, you have to go through index 0 to the end. So that this using for each loop is simpler, and also can help you to avoid errors, because sometimes when you use index, and often you need to be careful to avoid the index out of bounds error. All right, so here, and this is the case study analyzing numbers, writing code, and for the array, using array. So here's another example, deck of cards, and store the cards in the array and processing the elements and generating a random cards. And this is how you copy array. So if you write a code here, there's two arrays, assign list 1 to list 2. This is not a copy. So please note that this list 1, list 2, these are array reference variable that point to the array in the memory. So while doing this, you just assign the reference for list 1, the array, into list 2. Now list 2 and list 1 points to the same array pointed by list 1. And so now if you have an array pointed by list 2 before this, and listed that array pointed by list 2 becoming garbage. So this is garbage. So you can see it from this diagram. So this is list 1 and this is list 2. And if you do this, list 1, assign it into list 2, and afterwards you can see that is what happened. And this contents of list 2 and becoming garbage. Well, to actually to copy, and you have to write a code, you can use a for loop, copy it individually, or use another one is this is the a method array copy in the system class, java.lang.system class. So you can use this. It's system.array copy. So here is the syntax to use. You copy it. All right, so now let's look at how you pass array to methods. So please recall that in the previous chapter, we know that in Java, when you pass arguments and this is passed by value. So when you pass the array, the value is the array reference value. So please remember that. And for this, we need to look at this example here, test array arguments here. So we have a primitive data type value here, x. So then we have y is an array. It's int brackets. So here is the method mxy. So here number is int, so now becomes 1, and this is the y is points to the array. So when you do this, assign this 1001 to number. All right, so this x is not changed. When you assign this 5555 into numbers bracket 0, so that is the array pointed by y that's the one. So it's also getting changed. So this y bracket 0 is changed. It's the same as numbers bracket 0. You can see this using this code animation to see how this actually works. And using this code animation here, you can turn on the. So can you see this? And so here's check your understanding. You can see it. What would be x and y bracket 0 after invoking this? Enter the value of x. So it's 1001. And that's going to be number. No, that's number should be still 1. And then what is this? The y bracket 0. Y bracket 0 should be 5555. So that's here. All right, you can see it because that's how it works. There's numbers and points to the same array as y. You can return an array from a method. So this is reverse here and return the array here. All right, so this is the case study and counting the occurrence of each letter and see how how we generate random numbers, how we pass the array to method, and how we return array from method, and all in this case study. And so in Java, you can have variable length argument list. So here, this is the one. You have double, and this is the triple dots, ellipses, and this is numbers right here. So this is, when you pass it, you can pass it like all these numbers here, or using this array to pass it. All right, so here's searching array using linear search and using binary search. And so there's an animation how this linear search is performed. And so this is the, see how we write the code for linear search, and this is the binary search, and this is the animation for binary search. And so this is the code here. Sorting is fundamental in computer programming. So this, in this section, we introduce selection sort. And so here is the animation, see how selection sort works. And this is the animation, and this is the code. So the arrays class in the Java API, in the javas.ut package, so it contains useful methods for processing the array. So you can do a sort, and you can do, this is our parallel sort, is if your system has multiprocessor, parallel sort will be faster than sort. So this is a binary search, and also is in the arrays class. Yeah, there's other methods there you can use. All right, the last thing is look at the command line arguments. So this is very useful when you write a code. So you're going to pass the arguments from the main method. So when you invoke the main method, when you run the program, you can pass the arguments. So this is here. And here, look at the main method. Actually, the signature of main method is this. You can write a code like this. Hey, look, I have this main method, and I can invoke this main method with this array of strings. So this is an array of strings. All right, so here, when you run the code, you can pass it this way here. You drive out Java and test main. So this is the main program here. And so here's, you can have this is the class. Look at this, the class is test main. So you can run it like this. You can pass it 3 strings. It's an array of 3 strings actually. So this, if you pass this is the string with the space, you can have the quotation marks. So this is treated as just 1 string. All right, here's the case study for this calculator. So when you run this here, the program is called a calculator. You can pass this 3 arguments. So this is the it's expression and the operands and operator and operands. So this is how this is passed, and see how it is implemented here. All right, that is all for this chapter 7 guide and tips. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.